So now we're moving into the next part of the program where it's my great honor to give you the year in review for PICES 2020. This presentation will provide some brief highlights of PICES accomplishments over the last year. Quite amazingly, PICES science has not stopped, but has continued, often enthusiastically by virtual connections. Next slide, please. By April of this year, when PICES held its intersessional future Science Steering Committee and Science Board meetings, PICES was already adapting to the new normal of Zoom meetings. And I said I didn't want to have too many Zoom slides in this year in review, so I think this is one of the only ones. This kept PICES science moving forward. And it also had a measurable positive impact on PICES carbon footprints, which I'll talk more about later. Next slide, please. So those of you new to PICES, the overarching current science program is FUTURE, which stands for Forecasting, Understanding, Trends, Uncertainty, and Responses in the North Pacific Ecosystem. As FUTURE begins its entry into a new phase, we're thinking more and more about how PICES scientists can collaborate with one another. Science is no longer a single discipline working in isolation, but rather integrated into a SEES approach, that is SEES, which stands for Social, Ecological, Environmental Systems Approach. Dr. Steve Bograd, who will give the opening talk this evening, and many other members of FUTURE, wrote a paper with several elegant examples in the frontiers of marine science on how collaborative science can address problems in our changing climate. Next slide, please. As part of this SEES approach, we look forward to engaging in scientific challenges as part of PICES engagement in the UN Decade of Ocean Science for Sustainable Development. This includes working closely with early career ocean professionals and underrepresented communities to strengthen our science, including better communicating our science with one another, the general public, and the world. Next slide. The UN Decade of Ocean Science for Sustainable Development provides an unprecedented opportunity to strengthen and expand the collaborative science between PICES and partner organizations. Working together, we will continue to develop science in areas such as climate change effects on marine ecosystems, fisheries and ecosystem-based management, the human dimension, as well as capacity building to develop and implement ocean solutions. Next slide, please. During a recent meeting of the FUTURE Scientific Steering Committee, we brainstormed ideas to transition PICES from the ocean we have, which is on the left, to the ocean we want, which is on the right. I encourage each of you to think about what the ocean you want looks like, so that together we can begin to implement these changes through the science of PICES. Next slide, please. I believe the ocean we want includes input from young scientists. The success of PICES relies on inclusion of these early career ocean professionals, fondly referred to as ECOPs, so that they can develop the essential skills and relationships that will need to further develop and expand PICES science and its contributions to ensure sustainable connections with our global ocean. Their involvement means that the valuable institutional knowledge of PICES will be retained. This new generation will have a greater sense of shared ownership and buy-in of the initiatives and solutions that are crafted with a diversity of perspectives. ECOPs will help PICES play a leading role in the UN Decade of Ocean Science by bringing fresh ideas, relevant contributions, and diverse perspectives on the next chapter of scientific discovery. Next slide, please. For several years, PICES has provided support for the participation of early career ocean professionals in workshops and symposia, and has recognized excellence of the presentations of ECOPS at its annual meetings. We are now working on efforts to take this to the next step by explicitly defining the role of ECOPS as an integrated part of PICES to ensure the lasting legacy of PICES. We have begun the process to more formally engage ECOP in PICES by beginning to develop a PICES ECOP and mentor community, which you will hear about in Pengbin Wang's talk today. Next slide. So several new expert groups have been established in PICES, which you can see listed here. Small pelagic fish, integrated ecosystem assessment for the Northern Bering and Chukchi Sea, the impacts of warming on growth rates and fisheries yields, and ocean negative carbon emissions. I encourage you to look at their descriptions on the PICES website under the Members tab, which lists their terms of reference or tasks and their members. Please reach out to these members with your ideas and your interest. Next slide, please. PICES has several special interest projects which expands their capacity. So the MAF Fish GIS project, and MAF stands for the Ministry of Agriculture, Forestry, and Fisheries, which supports this project. On the left, you see a project which is ending this year, which was looking at small-scale fisher community-based environmental monitoring using a smartphone technology, the data of which could be uploaded to a website. This same smartphone technology is now being used in the project in the center of your screen, the Ciguatera project, to build local warning networks to assess, detect, and avoid human ingestion of Ciguatera fish poisoning in Indonesian communities. So this is an exciting new project as Ciguatera threatens more areas of the world due to climate change. And the third project is the Sea Turtle Project, which is an INHA University collaboration with PICES that's funded by INHA University. And you can see a picture here of some members of the team with a sea turtle that's tracked so that the movement of this turtle can be determined. This is a 4-year project which began in 2018 and will continue until 2022. Next slide, please. So these are examples of PICES scientific excellence, which are selected publications. So at the top, we have a collaboration with ICES and PAIM, which stands for Protection of the Arctic Marine Environment. So this publication focused on an ecosystem assessment for the Central Arctic Ocean. In the center, you see a brochure, which is a product of work by Working Group 30, which is the result of the 2011 Fukushima Daiichi nuclear power plant disaster impacts and its threats in the area. And then at the bottom, we see the product of the Working Group 32 on biodiversity of biogenic habitats, which studied the threats of bottom fishing and climate change to the distribution and abundance of corals, sponges, and other organisms. And I encourage you to look at these wonderful works on the Publications tab of the PICES website. Next slide, please. A couple of publications in which I've been involved resulted from a workshop that was sponsored in part by PICES. These publications are now in a special issue of the peer-reviewed journal Harmful Algae on climate change and harmful algal blooms. The first is a synthesis paper looking at future harmful algal bloom science, directions and challenges in a changing climate. And then the second paper was on pelagic harmful algal blooms and extreme events, lessons from nature's experiments with extremes. And both of these publications were a collaboration of PICES with the Global HAB Scientific Steering Committee. Next slide, please. As you can see, the PICES publications in 2020 were quite diverse. They include PICES special issue papers, brochures and outreach pieces, PICES press articles, and then other special PICES publications. Next slide, please. And just before COVID struck, we were able to sneak in one PICES capacity building workshop, which PICES co-sponsored. It was the Pacific Ecology and Evolution Conference at the Bamfield Marine Sciences Center in February. Next slide, please. PICES continues its capacity building with the PICES intern program. Se-Sul Kim from Korea will continue in the PICES Secretariat as an intern until 2021. She is the 20th PICES intern. Next slide, please. And not for you to read this entire slide, but just to show you that in recent years, which you see on the bar there on the right, that our working groups are generally collaborations with other international groups. And the working groups that I mentioned in a previous slide are collaborations with PICES. Next slide, please. So many other PICES partners are represented here. We thank them for their enthusiastic collaboration and look forward to working with them in the future. Next slide, please. And as part of PICES looking to the future, we're thinking about how we can lead by example. We have an opportunity springing from the COVID tragedy to show our example of carbon savings to the world, which is happening by our holding virtual meetings. You will see these data now prominently displayed on the PICES website, which show the calculation methods that are now vetted by the section on carbon and climate. We thank our colleagues at the Georgia Institute of Technology, Laloth Polapeti and Kim Codd for their assistance with these calculations, and Lori Waters in the PICES Secretariat for her leadership in making this happen. We want your opinion about the future of PICES as a possible combination of in-person and virtual meetings. A survey will be emailed to you after the PICES annual meeting. Please complete it so that we can hear your opinion and voice. Next slide. There have been a discussion for many years about the possibility of changing the PICES landing page to make it more inviting to the world. So we have a vision to communicate PICES science to the layperson, the general public, and making them truly aware of the great science that we do. So this model here, and this is not by no means final, but these are some ideas of things that could be displayed to make our website more inviting, the landing page more inviting. This is a version that's being proposed to the potential new study group on communications. And you see it features our carbon emissions, and it features Ask a PICES Scientist. So we will ask you all for your contributions to this. Next slide, please. The recent months have been a time of great introspection and challenge for scientists. I'm inspired and excited as your new Science Board Chair by the platform for change that PICES Collaborative Science provides. I'm asking each and every one of you who can hear my voice to join the PICES community to be the change that the world needs. We don't have a moment to waste, so please share your big ideas, your ocean solutions, and your transformative science. I look forward to hearing from you. Next slide, please. So we look forward to seeing you, hopefully in person, at upcoming Pisces science events. The next face-to-face Pisces annual meeting is now postponed, we hope, to 2021, and will be held in Qingdao, China. We sincerely hope that this will be an in-person meeting. Details will be coming soon, and you can see here other meetings that are planned for the future that are at least sponsored by Pisces. Next slide, please. So just to highlight now some of the scientific sessions that are happening this week that we hope all of you will join. Tonight, after this presentation, we will have the first two talks of the Science Board Symposium. How does 30 years of research on changing North Pacific ecosystems inform the UN Decade of Ocean Science for Sustainable Development Goals? And tomorrow, Tuesday in Sydney time, we will have part 2 of the Science Board Symposium. Then on Wednesday, you need to make a choice of joining the eDNA session or looking at the topic session on basically the year of the salmon and also associated pelagic fishes. On Thursday, we will have a topic session on atmospheric nutrient deposition and microbial community responses. So please join the sessions later this week. Next slide, please. And finally, I want to thank the Pisces Secretariat staff. There is so much work that went on behind the scenes. In September, they held 37 virtual workshops and business meetings, almost all of which were done after hours for them. 20 virtual meetings in October, including this one, and there will be 3 virtual governing council meetings in November of 2020. There have been numerous meetings also with our collaborators, sometimes starting at 4 a.m. So thank you so much to all of the Secretariat. Okay, and with this, I declare the 30th Annual Pisces Scientific Sessions open. We're going to take a 10-minute break before we start the talks, and I thank you all for your listening and for your participation. So please return in 10 minutes. So welcome back, everyone. And we had one omission. We forgot to acknowledge our wonderful Julia Yesvenko from the Pisces Secretariat. So Julia, thank you so much for all of your help. We love you. So